So like I know I don't have to be scared because there's nothing to be scared about. Like nothing bad can happen from having a bad performance. So how I deal with anxiety out in the field, I would say like I don't even get nervous anymore when I'm out in the field. Well, I would say I don't get scared anymore when I'm out in the field. I still, I have nerves and everything, like good nerves, but I don't get scared anymore. And that's because I've learned to, fully find my identity in who Jesus says I am and find my worth in who Jesus says I am and in nothing else but that. Because Jesus says that I'm worth something because he loves me and I'm worth his life to him. He thinks the world of me. The King of Kings thinks the world of me, and that's all I will ever need. So I'll never have to compare myself to anybody else because I know that I have Jesus, and because of what Jesus thinks about me, he says, he died for me, and now I'm God's child. I'm righteous, and I'm clean, and I'm born again, and I'm saved now, and that is worth more than anything else, man. So I don't have to compare myself to anybody else. There's nothing that anybody else can have or be that I would want anymore. You know what I mean? Like, I can't be anything better than God's child and loved by Jesus. So I don't, need to compare myself to anybody else because Jesus loves me, and that's all I'm ever gonna need. And that's kind of like, the mindset that you need to have when, you're thinking about like, comparing yourself to people. I have all that I need. I'm a child of God. I am loved by Jesus. And nobody can ever take that away from me. There's nothing else that anybody else can be that's better than that. That's what I would say about comparison. And then when I was talking about anxiety, like I wouldn't even say I get scared on the field anymore. Like, because I know at the end of the day, Jesus has already won. And so I've learned to just find my identity in Jesus. And that helps with the anxiety too, because I don't need to be scared or anxious out in that field. Nothing I can do on that field is gonna change who I am. I'm a child of God. I'm saved by Jesus. He loves me. A good performance won't change that. A bad performance won't change that. I'm a child of God. It's not gonna, nothing can take that away from me. Not a bad performance. And being a child of God and loved by Jesus means more to me than anything else ever could, than any award, than any, accolade could ever mean to me. So just knowing that knowing my identity in Jesus and finding my identity in Jesus, reminding myself of that, because that is something that will never fail and that can never be taken away. But if I find my identity in myself and how I perform in things of this world, ultimately that's gonna fail at the end of the day. At some point I'm gonna have a bad performance. But Jesus never has a bad performance, man. He already won. And that's everything I need, man. So I don't need to find my identity in anything else. Because why would I try to find my identity in something that's not Jesus when it's gonna fail at the end of the day? It's gonna fail at some point, and Jesus never fails. So I'm gonna find my identity in something that never fails, and that's Jesus. I'm finding myself in the love of Jesus. So in regards to anxiety out on the field, what do I have to be anxious for? Jesus loves me. I find my worth in him. And nothing out in the field can change that. So I don't gotta be anxious out there for nothing, man. I just go out there and have a good time and, use the gifts that God has given me to go glorify him and help bring people to his kingdom. And then as far as like comparing myself to others, I'm a child of God, and I find my identity and my worth in Jesus and his love for me and who he says I am. And he says that I'm enough already, so I don't need to be something that somebody else is, you know what I mean? So yeah, like overall, how to deal with anxiety and comparison in sport, I would say just, remember who you are in Jesus and your worth in Jesus, and, don't find your worth and identity in anything else. If you find your worth and your identity in Jesus, then there's no need to be anxious, and